Yep.
Good morning.
Hello.
All right.
Here we are.
Here we are. It is Wednesday
It is Wednesday morning.
And I feel all weird.
Weird?
Yeah, I'm just not. When I got home last night, I was like, I didn't wish Lisa like a happy day off. And I'm like, wait, it's only Tuesday. I was so confused.
I told you this has me so messed up. Yeah. I don't know what's what anymore, where we're coming and going from, and I'm just all over the place.
Yeah, it's just it takes a little while.
It's fine. It's just I have to literally think
what day is. Yeah. And we've always done digital dealers on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So this one isn't any different.
This isn't a problem.
No.
I mean, none of it's a problem. It's just weird.
It is. Well, and with using this camera, I'm not constantly trying to remember my iPad. So, like, I feel like I'm not.
There's steps that we're missing.
Yeah. I'm standing in the doorway, and Dave's like, "Are you coming?" And I'm like, "Yes," as soon as I figure out what I'm missing. Oh, goodness. Okay, so hopefully everyone can hear us okay. If you can give us a little thumbs up or something.
Just check in.
To reference that we actually have our mics on and they're working.
I mean, they're on, whether they're working or not.
Yeah, it looks like they're working here. So that would be great. Today is the Kimberbell Digital Dealer. So this also has me confused because it's a March pillow and it's February. So in my mind,
we're all screwed up.
Right, I'm so confused.
But
it's so cute.
It is really, really cute. And, when I first looked at it, Beth called the other day and she was asking a couple of questions about it. And so it was my first time I really read through the instructions. And looked at it. She was like, "Oh, I'm sorry that you're looking." I'm like, "No, this is great. I'm actually reading them before we sit down to sew it. It's great."
Yeah, absolutely.
So I was looking at it. I really like how they put this together. So it's not one solid pillow front.
Yeah.
It's actually done in pieces, which you can certainly do them in one hoop depending upon your hoop size, but very easy to alter for other holidays, which I think is phenomenally well done. So
really exciting. All right, so shall we just get started?
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll have plenty of time to talk about what we've done to prepare our kit when we start stitching. So,
absolutely.
I'll flip over here. So we have no-show mesh in the hoop.
We do. So this is a 7 by 12 hoop.
Because I put both designs in here. So we have a 6 by 6 design and we have a 5 by 7 design.
That has been turned sideways.
So it would fit in. Yeah.
It would not fit in a 6 by 10 hoop. You would need that 12-inch.
Yeah, you probably
both of them
could
together.
butt them up together, but there would be no space.
It would be really, really tight.
And we're probably pushing it anyways, so. But, we like to live on the edge.
Always. We'll try it.
Yeah. So we're going to do quilting, pre-quilting. That seems to be the norm these days. So our first couple of steps will be the same no matter what we're doing. We have a placement line for our batting. Then we will have a tack down trim line for the batting. And then we will have a placement line for our fabric, a tack down for our fabric, but not a trim line. And then we will do the quilting. So those first 5 steps are basically the same
as
always, and they just kind of just keep repeating themselves over and over and over again. So we have our placement line for our batting. I have the light green in, which is scrolling through the bottom, the ES442. That is the color that we want to do the background quilting in.
We didn't color sort.
I did not color sort. No.
All right.
No.
Nope, that's fine. I'm putting things in different spots.
Yeah, no, we'll do one complete project and then another.
Okay. I didn't leave myself a lot of room down there.
Living on the edge again.
There's enough.
Yeah, plenty. So if you purchased our kit, this is what we're using for our particular stitch out. We do have a little bit of a substitution for the backing fabric.
So the backing in the Kimberbell instructions and picture are calling for one of their solids.
Yeah.
Everybody here likes to have a little more oomph
Yeah.
Just to give it a little bit more personality in that flange and backing. So we switched to just a light print, nothing crazy,
Right.
just a little bit more. So the
It's kind of weird. There's like nothing. I see you guys are watching. We got one thumbs up. Okay, so I'm assuming somebody gave us a thumbs up so that you can actually hear us and that we're not just talking to ourselves.
hopefully, because we're not getting any comments on there either. So.
Right.
All right, so this is just a normal.
I'm getting over there. Sorry.
Yep.
Trim. There we go.
So I'm just removing the excess from outside of that stitch line. And this is, of course, so it wouldn't be in the seam allowance. Now, if you don't have even a 6x10 machine, this can be done in a 5x7 hoop.
Thanks, Marilyn. She can hear us just fine.
Wonderful, thank you. This would be done without these stitch lines
There we go.
here in a 5x7 hoop. So if you only have the 5x7 available to you, you would get the top stitch lines, but you would not get the sides. So you'd still be able to stitch this project. It just wouldn't be done with side stitching lines. So you would have to use a ruler later on to do that. But this is still available to be used if you only have a 5x7 embroidery field. Okay.
All right. Push the button.
Push the button.
Woohoo.
Let's fight over it.
Can I push your button?
Nobody, then everybody. So we are threaded with Exquisite's number 442, I believe.
ES442, the light green.
Yep.
Which is kind of like, I don't know, it's light green.
It's really pale.
Light blue.
It
light teal.
matches
aqua.
that solid, which is what's being used for the background, very, very nicely. And that is what we are going to add into the hoop now. So again, you want to completely cover up that placement line. When you have stuff in the back of the hoop, it's really easy to not cover that back stitch line up. So always make sure that you are covering.
We probably want to push to the top just a little because we have that other design that's going in at the bottom of the hoop.
I can do that.
Instead of being super
balanced.
Yeah.
All right, and now we're going to tack that fabric in place.
And we have prepared the fabric with
There is a fusible backing on there, so we have Easy Tee.
Yeah.
That's what I did last night. So I starched everything first, and then went ahead and fused that to the background pieces.
Yes. And ironically, this afternoon we're going to do a little
We're
bit
going to
about
talk about that.
preparing your fabric, just a special little lesson on just that particular part. So if you have been struggling with it, hopefully we'll break it down into like super easy to follow instructions.
So we talked about that quite a bit in our block of the month, and there seems to be
Still a little
more
bit
confusion than we like.
Yes.
So we thought, you know, we're just going to
Let's just break it down.
We're gonna do that again
Spend
and
some
cover
time.
all of that, and
just talking about that.
and you know, if they're confused, there's probably a lot of other of you out there that are like, I just don't feel comfortable with what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
So we thought we would take advantage of that. This is that quilting stitch, which is part of the design, so you don't have to buy any additional
Background quilting designs.
quilting designs to do this. So you can see, or more to the point, you can't, how well this thread blends into this fabric. So it's a perfect color for this particular fabric.
Yeah.
Really, really well. I have dry mouth. It's like my teeth are like, bleh.
The embroidery arm seems obnoxiously large today on screen.
It's Fat Wednesday.
Yeah.
That is a cute quilting design.
It is. I like a good loop.
I purchased the Lucky S 22-inch pillow kit last year, and I never made it. I'm hoping maybe I can get that done this year.
Yeah, you know, I'm halfway done with mine.
Yeah.
Still got to do those borders. It's still in my bag. Maybe I'll do the borders today. In between all of the other things that I have to
I
stitch.
think there's probably some other things we could stitch prior to that.
I mean, we could. I could just shirk
or-
my duties. Isn't it supposed to be like work in progress Wednesday?
I've got some fabric we could start this afternoon.
Yeah. That would be good for your project,
For my personal project.
I think that's perfect.
I think I need one more fabric to make it a little bit easier to
Math it out.
math it out,
Yeah.
which actually is an odd number of fabrics, but I think that's going to be,
Yeah.
you can look at my thought process and tell me whether I'm crazy or not.
Okay. All right. It's so cute. We're doing that background quilting, and this is part of the design. And if you haven't already purchased a digital dealer exclusive for February, which is a March design, you can do so. Scrolling down at the bottom, you can go to our website, or in the description of this video, there is a link that you can go to purchase it. But we have both kits and designs available for purchase.
Yep. So the plan anyways with the digital dealer is if there's a holiday upcoming,
Yeah.
you would get the design the month prior.
Which totally makes sense, so you can be prepared.
You can have that done ahead of time rather than after.
Yes. Okay, now we're doing the stem.
So,
Do you want to change colors?
so sorry, excuse me. It doesn't, it's not going to show. It's going to have a satin stitch covering it, so we can leave that in. We're going to do a whole bunch of placement lines, and then there's going to be a heavy satin stitch that covers it.
Okay.
So we can leave that in.
All right.
I think we're going to be good with that. So let's just,
Yeah,
Go.
we just came unthreaded.
yes, we did.
Oh, bitch. That was not nice. She is
Today it's your fault.
not
We're not for kids.
behaving.
Your fault. Okay, so placement line for your stem fabric. You get, of course, all of the little pieces that you need. And this is just traditional applique. We're going to basically build the shamrock first, and then it will do a decorative satin outline over all of that. So this is going to be the stem, and we're going to go ahead and tack that down. Once we do that, the leaves are going to be a folded fabric technique. Which is maybe mildly confusing to some.
Could be, yeah.
So we'll make sure that we
Explain
slow
that.
down and show everybody that. So
All right.
I'm going to go ahead and trim the excess of that off. And then it's going to give us a map of what we're doing with our other fabrics. And maybe let's rethread so they can see what we're doing a little bit easier.
Let's do that darker. So I'm going to put in the ES 240, which is that dark green. That's scrolling through. That's the first color.
So this part here is just regular applique, nothing fancy. I'm just trimming away that excess from the outside of that stitch. What's going to be next is the placement line for all of the leaves of the shamrock. So here is what that's going to look like. And you can see we've got 3 petals, if you will, in each of the leaves. And we have 3 colors of fabric that we're going to use there. So they do alternate in what color goes where, so you can follow the directions. to know where that is. But the first thing that we're going to do is show you where each of those are going to go. So we've changed our thread because, as we previously discussed, you can't really see 442 show up. So this will help you guys see what we're doing a little bit cleaner on screen.
One.
Yep.
2 more. You got your fabric folding pen. Does that got water in it? Or something? I think that one does. Yeah, that one does.
We've been ransacked. That's right. My finger will work.
Oh, looking for your little roller?
The roller. That's all right. I can make it work.
Okay. I doubt it's over here, but you know,
Yeah.
you never know.
You really don't. All right. So when we are using this technique, the first piece is always going to be pretty side up. So each of these is a separate piece. So if you saw in the image, they had numbers in each of the leaves, and it said 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So piece number 1 is going to go in this bottom section here. And if you're following the color layout, it is the light green. So what we want to do is completely cover up that first piece there, like so, and then stitch the next color stop. What that's going to do is just give us a line. And that line is going to be both a placement and a trim line.
Yes.
That was really, really close.
Sometimes it's just so much closer than you think it's going to be.
And again, I'm working out
Yep.
in front of me. It's always easier, you know, when you're
I do that all the
on
time,
top
though,
of it,
even when
too.
I'm on top of it. But it's plenty.
Yep, it is. So I'm going to come over here so you guys can see a little bit better.
There we go.
Oh,
Ooh,
that's
a little
really
more.
close.
There. That's
All right. So what we have here is that line. I want to
now you gotta
remove,
move it back up because you zoomed in. Oh, there you go.
I need to remove that fabric, which there's not a whole lot over there.
You can get underneath it. You can do it. You definitely want to trim that because if you don't, the next color is yellow. You will really see that poking through underneath it.
So you can see that I trimmed right at that line. And now what we're going to do is take color number 2, which I'm following the instructions, which are over here. I'm not making this up. I'm just doing the color layouts that I'm being told. But I'm going to take piece 2 and I'm going to turn it pretty side down. And I'm going to use that line as my guide for where to place my fabric. So I put it literally right on top of that line.
Yep.
So again, I'm going to hold that up so you guys can see there's the stitch line, and I'm going to put the fabric right at that line.
Yep, just like you're sewing, pretty side to pretty side.
And I'm going to now put that back at the machine. And the machine will automatically stitch, thank you, the 1/4 inch seam allowance-ish.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little generous.
Sometimes it's super generous. Sometimes you're like, oops, that wasn't much, but it grabbed it, so I'm good. All right, so now you can see that pretty well since we changed to the dark thread. We have a pretty close to a 1/4 inch seam there. What I need to do now is fold, which is why this is called a fabric folding technique. But before I do that, I'm going to add some starch to that seam. So back over here underneath, I'm going to take my fabric folding pen, which has liquid starch in it, and I'm going to squeeze right on, oh, big bubble. There we go. That's way too much. You don't need that much. But
they can see that it's wet.
But you can see that it's wet, no doubt, right? And then you're going to fold that up. This is in place of having an iron at your workstation. If you have an iron, you certainly can use it. The mini irons are great for doing stuff inside of your hoop. There is also a roller. I don't know if you heard us going, do you see that? It's disappeared. I don't know where my roller went. Normally I would use my seam roller and roll right on top of that. So I'm just using my fingers to press that. And what we want is that to be nice and flat before we go to stitch the next one. And what it's going to do is stitch basically on that next angle to give us a new cut and placement line. So if we come back over,
I found one.
fantastic. So if we come over here, it is now going to give us a new line. Thank you. And Sarah found a roller. That shifted a little bit.
It's all right.
It'll be fine. All right, so that has stitched in place. Gonna come back over here again.
Get your exercise.
You do.
Get your like side pieces.
All right, and now again, everything above that line I'm gonna remove. And then I can see the area that I'm filling. Again, pretty side to pretty side. So I take my fabric and I turn it pretty side down and I put it right on that line. A mistake that we see really, really often when people are doing fabric folding technique is they'll put like the fold, they won't have excess hanging outside of that. And then when this folds, they'll have the tip not being covered.
Yeah, they can see that.
So you can kind of see that area there that has an opening. You want to make sure that you're balanced on each side of your stitch line. So don't have all of the fabric one way or the other. Have it roughly in the center and have approximately the same amount of excess fabric on either side of that stitch line. Whatever size fabric your pattern told you to get is probably a reason for it.
Yep.
So don't short those, especially if you are going into somewhere that's not straight lines.
Mm-hmm.
Those curves are turkeys.
Yeah.
They need extra fabric. So here we go with that 1/4 inch seam, basically. And it's going to stitch that down. And then we're gonna starch and flip again. And that is how those are made.
Yeah. And then it's going to do a placement or
It's
kind of
going
like
to do a tack down to trim all of the excess around there. So
sometimes you don't have to do that, but because
we're going to do another one right next to them, we got to get that out of the way. So one more time,
there you go.
I've got my pen, which this just has concentrated starch and water inside. These are fantastic. If you don't have one of these, you totally need one.
We do sell them.
I know you're shocked to hear that. All right, so you just get that seam wet, you fold it, and you roll. So that roller really gets you a nice, honestly, I think sometimes these are better than the iron. And that is then my 3 petal pieces of my 1 leaf. Now we're gonna go back to the machine and it's just gonna do an outline so I can get rid of the excess around the outside. They're smart enough to have the direction going with my folds. Yay.
Yay.
Sometimes you have patterns that are like, really, why did you go that way?
Yep.
But okay, maybe not. It just doesn't matter because they're all below. It's just below the stitch line. Guess that's why it didn't matter. But you notice that I have my stiletto in there instead of my fingers because I can't reach behind there. And I'm just tucking in to make sure that those don't go that way as it's going around.
Yeah.
So always a good idea to be prepared to keep your fabrics where you need them to go.
For sure.
All right, now I'm just going to remove that excess. I'm even remembering I can put my lace in there.
Right?
Look at me. All right, so we're gonna just get rid of the excess of all 3 colors.
It's kind of bulky in that corner, so.
I just missed the fold. And you do want to get rid of both, of course, the fold and the top piece.
They can't see you.
I'm sorry.
There you go. We could probably zoom out a little.
Oh, I'll get it in a second.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a lot of something going on there. But that's okay. Came off without a problem. All right, so there is number 1.
Yay.
Now we do that 2 more times.
2 more times.
All right, so I'm going to refer to my instructions real quick and see what color I'm supposed to do next. One, 2, 3. Yellow. All right, so again, paper piece, folded fabric, whatever the heck you want to call this. The first piece always is pretty side up. So I'm going to completely cover that petal. I'm going to extend over because I know that the line is, now I know it's going to be over there quite a bit. So I'm there, and I'm going to let that stitch that first cut and placement line. Color 2, and then color 3. Okay.
I bet you'll never guess what we're going to do.
I'm going to leave it right there. All right, so again, I'm going to remove everything from this side of the line because I'm covering that first section. I don't want to, of course, cut away that fabric. So this is probably the most confusing part, is that first piece. Once you get the first piece down, most people get there okay. So there it is. There's my line. I'm going to take my next piece pretty side down. So there's my good side. So that's going to go upside down, and it's going to go right on that line. Again, make sure you're balancing outside of those edges to make sure you have enough coverage. And then you have a rough 1/4 inch allowance again.
Okay. We're going to flip and sew.
Flip and sew.
Or dip and press.
I need the next stitch line, so we're going to take that back to the machine. This is a lot of stitching for such a little pillow.
Right? It's a lot of work.
Didn't realize how many steps were on this.
Starts and stops. Yeah.
All right, going to do that same thing again. And again, everything from above pretty side's going to go down. Balance your excess on either side of the line, and then stitch that one in place. You got a lot of button pushing to do over there.
I do. Struggle.
It's real.
It's real. It's hard work over here.
Just like mine.
Remembering to push the button. I can see that you're on the other screen.
What's the matter with that? All right, and we're gonna flip this one down, and then it's gonna do that outside edging again, and then we'll trim there. So there is my leaf number 2. All right, now it's going to do that outside stitch, and then we'll get rid of all the excess, and then we have one more to go.
And then we have that big satin stitch to do.
Which is going to take a hot second.
This.
All right, so again, I am just prepared in case I need to catch any of those folded edges, which Didn't need to, but you know, always better to be prepared than to, oh crap, later
We've had
on.
our fair share.
We have had, oh crap moments. So,
flipped fabrics.
I mean, I don't know of anybody that's embroidered that hasn't ever had a flipped fabric somewhere.
If they tell you that, they're lying.
Probably. All right, so again, we're going to trim all of the excess from the outside. A little bit more wiggle room for me. All right, start with the top layer.
It's always hard to see on the camera, but what she's doing with her her opposite hand is she's holding up the fabric a little bit so she can get her scissors underneath there and get a cleaner cut. If you struggle with that, sometimes I really think that holding it up like that makes a big difference.
I find that makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
So if I just leave it flat, I'm much more apt to have a lot larger excess left there. If I give it a pull, that gives me an edge to trim to.
Yeah, it's much easier. So when you don't have a lot of excess fabric, if you don't have enough to grab, and you're still struggling to get it close, like if you use a pair of tweezers, you can hold, those little angled tweezers are perfect for that.
Actually, I think that's probably pretty good. Got that first one pretty good the first time around. All right, so there is number 1 and 2.
1 and 2. Are you having a little dust for breakfast?
A little bit.
All right.
All right, so
And
that was,
number 2. I feel like it's probably going to be light green.
it's going to be light green and then dark green. We're just going backwards. So again, always remember, cover that first one up. This is literally, everybody screws that one up, especially when there's multiples like this because they think there needs to be a stitch before they put fabric down because, you know, there's a placement line that tells you where to put it, right? Well, they already did that. So
They did,
we just did that like, I don't know, 10 steps ago.
Right.
Or something like that.
15 hoops removing again.
Right. So we're going to cover up this first leaf pretty side up. Make sure you leave yourself a little bit of space for that seam line there.
Yeah, anytime you start a new section for these, it's always going to be the
Pretty
first
side
one
up.
pretty
Yep.
side up, and then you trim,
and the next one's going to be.
and then you prepare it pretty side to pretty side.
All right, so this next one is going to be just right on that line. And I'm just going to, that's outside of the, take that next one, and again, it's going to go right there. And I want to balance one more time the excess on either side just to make sure that as it's folding, I'm not going to lose a placement and have an opening because that stinks when you got to take that out and your fabric has lots of bends and holes and it doesn't work well. I have 4 now.
I see that.
Slowly making my way. Getting there. All right. Here we go.
Okay.
All right, there's that fold. Now we're going to do another placement and trim line. I think I can do it here.
Okay.
It's right in front of me, so I'm going to trim right on that line. Last one, we're going to put that pretty side down and balance on either side and tack that in place. Okay.
We're almost ready to do something different.
Right? We've rinsed and repeated a couple of times now. All right, one more outside edge to trim.
Yeah. Yay. All right. So, good morning, Shannon. No worries about being late. That's the beautiful thing about a recorded video.
Come when it
You can
works.
Always go back. You can always go back to the part that you keep messing up on too, which
That
is really nice.
a really nice thing about a video.
When you don't get it the first 12 times. Not that I've ever had that happen.
Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about. It's nice to be able to delete part of the video as well.
Right?
Oops. Well, yeah, they don't need
yeah,
to.
they don't need to
They
see
don't
that
need
I
to
did
see
it
that
wrong
part.
12 times.
All right, so we're gonna get rid of that top layer first. So where that fold is going to be, of course, the hardest part. So that's where I'm starting, and then just making my way around. Trying to keep on camera.
The struggle.
It is real.
Shannon asked, how is the weather here? It's actually pretty nice. It's sunny and 33 out. So all of the snow that we had is melting.
Yeah.
And
my driveway looks wonderful.
right? When I got out of the truck this morning, it looked like we had been bahaing at the mud pits.
Yeah. But
So.
I'm not flooded in the drive yet, so I'll take it.
Yeah. Yeah, not too bad. How about where you're at, Shannon? She said she woke up with a cold. Oh,
I'm
that
so
is
sorry.
no fun.
That is not fun.
No.
All right, I think that is all set as much as I can, and they've got a nice big old stitch that's going to cover up those edges.
All right, now we have the 7
7
minute
minute
satin stitch.
Satin stitch. So we already have been working with that dark green. If you hadn't been, because you didn't need to see it and show it on film, you would want to change to whatever color you would like that to be. But we are, of course, already there.
Yep. And we are working with the ES240. That is the dark green. It is 31, wind advisory, bulk of our snow melt in the 40s last couple of days. Yeah, it's similar weather here. Everything weirdly is warming up. It's kind of that fake out when Mother Nature tells us that spring might be coming. What do you think? And like we'll have another major snowstorm probably before that happens, just as we're all getting used to. We'll start seeing people come in. Like now is when you start seeing the weird people that start wearing their shorts again.
So Jeff has been wearing shorts because with his knee brace, it's practically impossible to.
Yeah.
I mean, he can get them on, but it's not comfortable. So he's like, screw it, I'm just going to wear shorts.
Yeah.
You know, he wears heavy here, and he's got socks and boots and whatever on, you know. But he's... And I'm just like, aren't you freezing? I'm cold just looking at you. And he's like, it's actually...
Not too bad.
It's not that bad. Even when it was super cold, he was like, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
So He's gosh, I got fuzz everywhere. But yeah, so he's been surviving.
Yeah.
But for
I
his,
talked-
his sake, I'm glad it's not
Yeah.
in the teens or
Right.
single digits
it's a nice
anymore.
change. I talked to my dad yesterday. He's home and feeling much better, and I'm glad. They're thinking about. He's contemplating trying to find a new cardiologist who will actually attempt to work on his heart again, which has me a little freaked out
Yeah.
because I was there when the doctor said don't do it. So I tried to convince him yesterday on the phone. I'm like, I think you should just come
ride
home.
it out.
Or if you want to, you need to come home and let the original surgeons who've
Look at it
already
and
been in
see.
there. Yeah, but I don't know. She says, yeah, until about 20. Yeah, that's about what happens here. Wisconsin weather. It's probably very similar to what we have here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Though Dave's best friend, Justin, he now lives in North Dakota. The entire time that I knew him, I think I only saw him wear pants 2 or 3 times. One of them was when we got married. The other time was when he was in his military uniform. Any other time he had shorts on. It did not matter what the temperature was here. And I would see him in North Dakota, like with pictures, and it's like 25 below zero, and he's got shorts on. And
Yeah.
I'm like, you're just not right.
Yes, Samantha's beau
Yeah.
pretty much always wears shorts, and I don't grasp that either.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's feet of snow out there.
Yeah.
You need to cover those up. I'm like, no. But
Your microphone just, there you go. Sucked in. I really got to do those magnets. I should look at that today. That would make life a little easier for us.
well, I think the color choice is nice. It
I
looks
do.
good.
It's really, really good. Then we have the yellow for the flower. And what color are we going to do So Lucky in? Are we going to do it in green too?
I think so.
Yeah. He was, my dad was, I told you that Anna broke her hip. And so I asked my dad, so what was she doing? So this is the sewing funny part. So apparently she bought a pattern, a clothing pattern online, and it was like 40 pages. So she printed it, and she was hurrying to the printer when she tripped and broke her hip
Oh, no.
and gave herself a concussion. So I said,
Must have really wanted to make that, huh?
she was really, yeah, he's like, she was really excited about it. I'm like, so bad. Then we had to have a conversation. My dad's like, why do people make patterns that are 40 pages? And we had this whole conversation on the way home. I don't know. These online designers sometimes don't think about what's going to happen when it's printed because they don't have to pay to
They
print
don't
it.
pay, right.
So that was funny.
Hope your dad's health will get better.
Oh, thanks, Shannon. He's doing better. My dad, he probably shouldn't be here. He's had some pretty big health scares, so any extra time he gets is really, I told him he's living his bonus life, yes.
Yeah.
But he seems so much happier down there. I'm glad that whatever is going on down there is making him happy.
Yeah. It's a lot.
Yeah, I know. When I talked to him about coming back to see the doctors here, he's like, it's cold there. And I'm like, yeah, Dad, it was cold here for the 60 years that you lived here. It's not a surprise. It's not new.
No, it is not.
I know you didn't forget that. You haven't been in Florida long enough to forget that. But
I don't know. It seems like whenever I go to Florida, it's cold there too and rainy.
it's been rain. Well, it does rain a lot there for sure.
Nope. I'm always in Florida at the wrong time.
Yeah.
I can't honestly tell you the last time I was in Florida and I was like, wow, this is great weather. I really don't.
I mean, we got, before the hurricane last year, the weather was beautiful. It wasn't as hot as it usually is, of course, because the storm was coming. And we didn't get much rain until
Till it
until we had to
decided to
leave for
come
the
through,
hurricane.
right.
Yeah. But I mean, Florida will be safe this hurricane season because I'm not coming down. So there'll probably be a hurricane in December now.
Right? It'll snow in December.
Unprecedented, yeah. Just, if anything weird happens at the beginning of December in Florida,
It's totally your fault.
because apparently I just followed me.
Well, go to Arizona and it snows. Of course. I mean, I was 7,000 feet up, but still.
Right.
Strong.
It is. And then on
It
your
was
way
October.
home, you got the snowstorm. You guys didn't get stuck, but it was still kind of following you.
It was literally chasing us. Yep.
Apparently, we're just not allowed to leave work.
Just go to work. Go to work, ladies. No time off for you.
You're not going to enjoy it because we're going to make a natural disaster. Shannon says she's a weather magnet also. Well, it's a good thing you're not living here then. Imagine if there were 3 of us.
Yeah, so scary. But yeah, the weather's, it just feels like, doesn't matter when I go on vacation. I can't seem to win on that one.
Yeah.
Now, Virginia, it seems like it's almost always nice there.
Yeah, I think they're kind of, we have a lot of nice days in Michigan. Virginia is just like a milder version,
Of course, that whole state shuts down if there's like a half an inch of snow.
Yes,
So
yeah.
They have no idea how to handle it.
Yeah, when we lived in Missouri for a little while, now it's going to do, so lucky.
This is going to be the So Lucky, and we're going to leave it in that same color. So it's going to be the words in dark green.
Yeah. We lived at like the bottom of 2 hills in an apartment complex, and my mom drove a Mustang, and it had snowed, and we're from Michigan, so when it snows, you get in your car and you go to work. So I'm like 10. I look out the window and I see my mom like going like this, trying to get up the hill in the front. Which of course she never made it because there just was no traction. And she came back in and she was mad. Like she was so angry about it. And she called work and they were like, well, we're closed. And she's like, well, why didn't anybody call me?
Somebody tell me
and
that.
She's like, well, we close when it snows here. And my mom was like, okay. Oh, it was just a foreign concept. Yeah, we couldn't go outside for recess when it snowed when I was in Missouri because
they just don't know how to handle it.
They do not.
No.
And they just sand everything. That was the goal, is just put sand down, and of course it just made a muddy mess.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, that's hard. Ugh. But yeah, it's
that video that Hayden sent yesterday of the truck, right? So
I literally just was like,
I thought for sure it was going to back in a second time.
I did too.
So I showed Dave that. He's like, yeah. He's like, that's how I imagine when the gal drove into our house, because we weren't there when it happened. He's like, that's exactly how I imagine it happening. But it wasn't like that. She hit the gas instead of the brake and drove up like a parking block and then a hill through a fence and then into the side of my house. And she left like paint from her car on the gas meter. That's how close she was. And we didn't live there yet. We had bought the house, but we hadn't moved in. And so she sat there all day long. There was a party store next door to us because she was so upset about what had happened. She had called the police. She made a police report. And that's how we found out, because the police contacted us. And Dave calls me and I'm at work. And he's like, yeah, somebody ran into the house. So I'm going to go check over it. And of course, I'm not picturing that house. I'm picturing the house we were living,
where you were currently
which
at.
is in a neighborhood. And I'm like, what? How did that happen? Yeah. So and he went there. Dave was like, she was just bawling. She was just so, Dave's like, this little old lady, and she's just hysterical. And he's like, the whole time, I just kept thinking, she's going to have like a heart attack and die. because she's so upset.
Yeah, well, this semi-truck driver could not just get out of here fast enough.
Yeah,
he
kind
did
of
not.
like the truck driver yesterday. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's backing up, and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to hit it again. It's just like, oh my God, he's going to hit me again.
But it wasn't poop, so let's call that a win.
It could always be worse.
Oh, someday you'll be able to laugh at it about it when the car is fixed.
I mean, you know, I walk down my stairs, and it's literally I'm walking into that. You know,
yeah,
it's really not that bad. I mean,
but it
still could be so much worse.
Yeah.
I mean, to have a semi literally back into your car,
yeah,
and push it 2 feet,
yeah,
and that's all that happened.
Right.
I'm super lucky. I mean, he could have pushed me into the curb and I mean.
Right. Yeah.
But. Just.
When I was with Dave, we were in front of, so we lived on a main road. And so there was 5 lanes and there was a left-hand turn lane. So we were in the left-hand turn lane getting ready to turn into our driveway. And we were stopped. And somebody rear-ended us. We didn't even feel it. Like, we didn't feel it at all. And the guy got out of the car and he was so angry. And we were stopped. So getting ready to pull into our driveway. And the guy's like, you backed into us. And we're like,
excuse me?
No, that's not what happened. You know, like we're getting ready to pull left. But there wasn't any damage, of course, to our big cube truck. But the guy's whole, I mean, it just smushed it. And I'm like, how fast were you going? That you did not see this giant white thing stopped in front of you. And a couple weeks later, my sister rear-ended a bus. And I was like, how did you not see that giant yellow thing?
I am amazed. Yeah.
I mean, there are sometimes I get it. Like the people stop super fast and it just happens. Like that's how accidents happen. But when the car in front of you is stopped for a really long time and you just drive right into them, that's the part that I really don't understand. And that is exactly what my sister did. Right into the back end of a bus. And then called me. FedEx has taken out my mailbox 2 times. After hearing your issues, I'll take it.
Right. So hang on, I got one for you.
Yeah.
But we are moving on to the flowers.
Yes.
So I've switched to color number 602 in the Exquisite line, which is this beautiful pale yellow. So here we go on that. So the corner of Ellsworth and Michigan Avenue.
Okay.
There's a speedway there.
Yeah.
I have been hit at that corner twice.
Like getting ready to turn?
Going different directions. Once I was coming east and once I was going west. One time when I was heading west, I was in the left lane going straight. There's this huge truck, not a semi, truck with like panels in the back of his bed. So it was tall. I couldn't see anything over there. And we started to go and somebody a drunk ran the light and hit the truck who hit me and pushed me into oncoming traffic. Scared the living daylights out of me. And of course, so I got hit from the right. And I got hit because I got pushed in oncoming, scared the living bejesus out of me. And then a second time going the other way, got hit. And I'm like, I hate that. I hate that intersection. I never go there. Twice, the same freaking intersection. I mean, what's the likelihood? So I like almost never go that way.
Yeah.
I just like, evidently I'm not supposed to drive here. But yeah.
We used to get a lot of accidents in front of our old house over there.
I can see why.
So it was like we were on our way, it was like on its way to 94, so a lot of truckers went across that road. So yeah, a lot of things happened. It was kind of interesting to watch. It's a good, it's the thing about living on like a main road, right? You never really know. And the nighttime activity, not with the cars, but with the weird people.
Yeah. People watching can be so much fun.
Yeah. Oh, she said we're great. Shannon has an intersection like that too. I cross my fingers when I go through it, yeah.
Yeah, I just avoid that. Like, there's other ways to get over that way. I'm just not gonna go that way. Yeah, I've been in a few accidents. A couple of them are my fault, but I don't seem to have good luck. I'm a very careful driver because I had enough accidents when I was younger that I'm used to be a very nervous driver. I'm not anymore, but.
Candy said she missed what we're doing with this design. So this is the digital dealer. I'll flip over to that screen for a second and Lisa can show you that page. It is this, the So Lucky pillow. So this is the left part of the pillow, and then next we're gonna do the green quilting part. So
it almost looks real.
Yeah, it almost looks real. Almost looks like we already did it.
Almost.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that is what we're making, and we're almost done with the first part.
Yes.
So once we have that, then this is a separate hooping. And so one of the things that I really like about the way that this one is done is that you can change or add on different, you've got the framework, so you can really easily alter how this is going to look. If you wanted to put a bunny on there for Easter, if you wanted to change the quilting on the background, or the quilting on just the green side and have it be pink or purple or whatever for Easter, or Christmas, 4th of July, whatever it happens to be that you want to make something for. You've got these base pieces now instead of a whole pillow. It's super easy to change and manipulate how you want. I really, I kind of like how
these are like the slowest flowers ever.
There's multiple petals, and the petals are all done separately.
They are. I'm like, what is taking
except for this one. I'm not really sure why this one's deciding to go so fast. Is it a little smaller?
Maybe. It's so funny.
The first two flowers, every petal was separate.
Apparently, I should have plugged later. 2 flowers ago.
Right? Why didn't you give it what for, man? So this is a bench buddy
we need
size.
White.
We do need the white.
Yep. So it's about what, 6 by 10?
It is, what is that, 5.5 by 9.5 or something like that?
Yeah.
Finished for their piece. So that little rectangular bench buddy pillow is what this will finish out to be, Miss Candy.
If you wanted to use it for that.
If you did. Yeah. You could have this be, a large mug rug. There's plenty of room for a nice big cookie next to your coffee, or whatever, muffin or something like that. So you could, edge it that way if you would prefer it to be a little bit different.
If I had about 12 more hours in each of my days, it would be really cute to find a little stand for these, so that you could, like you said, redo.
Just change out and have something for.
Yep.
My little calendar pieces would work.
Yeah, just like that.
Just like that.
Oh, Shannon asked, do we have roundabouts? Yeah, they're starting to build more roundabouts around. We're not real smart with them either.
Would you like my opinion on a roundabout? I have one.
So I already have put in the second design, which is the quilted part of this. So I'm just going to hit the start button here.
I mean, everything's washable, so hey.
Oh, Shannon says that Hobby Lobby has a mug tray that this works with. Oh, that'd be cute. Yeah, because if you put you would definitely have to put your mug on this side. Otherwise, it'll be a little tipsy.
Well, being tipsy is not always bad, I suppose, right? So, this is part 2. So now we're going to work on that dark green quilted side.
Yep.
And
so those first 5 pieces, first 5 steps are
always the same. So we've got our placement line for our batting, and we're now going to tack that down. This is a hair bigger than what we actually needed. I just cut it in half.
Yeah. What color do we want to do our quilting on this side?
I was going to do it in the dark green.
Dark green? Okay.
That's where I was going.
Perfect.
So this is then finished by sewing. So this is not a completely finished project in the hoop based on how it's being stitched.
Yeah.
If y'all hadn't figured that part out.
We are using a 7 by 12 hoop so that we could fit both pieces in. Not a super common hoop size.
It's one of my favorites though.
But yeah, we use it a lot. It really is about the same size as the total circumference as the 6 by 10 hoop. But our 6 by 10 hoops have a lot of dead space at the top and the bottom, whereas the 7 by 12 doesn't have that dead space. It's actually usable space. And I like this hoop because it has the screws at both the top and the bottom.
It's much more adjustable.
It is very adjustable based on what you have.
So I find I use this hoop at home quite a bit.
Yeah.
It's hair bigger than that 6 by 10. So when I'm looking for the quilting for something that's 6 inches, then I have the 6.5.
Yep.
It gives me that space that I need. It is the same amount of stabilizer as my 6 by 10 hoop.
Yeah.
Because of that excess plastic that's in the 6 by 10, I literally need the same amount of stabilizer to do either of these hoops, but I gain that little bit of extra space.
So now we need our fabric, and I will change the thread color. So I'm putting back in the ES 240.
This whole forehand thing's so much nicer.
It is, right? It's so much more efficient.
So I did cut this the size that it said to cut it, but there's not a lot of extra.
That's okay. We don't need. Remember, it's getting trimmed down anyway, so it's getting trimmed down to 4 by 6 instead of 4.5.
I just find that it's interesting that the batting. I thought the batting or the
Fabric was larger.
I would have thought the whole thing would be. The batting sizes. And
Oh, yeah, would be the same. So Marilyn said, someone on the Kimberbellas posted that she added a leprechaun or a gnome on the right side. I'm sure added in software, but it was adorable, I bet.
And you could with the brother and the baby lock anyway, I can't tell you how easy that is on other brands because I haven't sewn on anything in a really long time that wasn't a brother or baby lock. Hitting add and placing it on top of these, super easy. So it's just a matter of what you want to do.
For sure. That is an 8 by 12.
One below it's a 6 by 10.
6 by 10. So Dee asked, do we have these hoops in stock? I'm not sure. If we don't, we probably should get them again.
We usually try to get those open box.
Yeah, we typically sell those. We sell them by open box because we can get them for a little less expensive. But no, I don't have them in. If you have a brother or a baby lock machine and you are interested in a 7 by 12 hoop, email us at stitching, STITCHING at Leabu, LEABU, sewing, SEWING, center, CENTER.com. So stitching at LeabuSewingCenter.com, and we can email you back a price, and if that's something that you would like, we can send you over an invoice. It's one of those things that we're not supposed to sell online,
right? Because
it's we kind of cheat, so don't tell anybody. But we would be happy to get it for you. It's very reasonably priced when you consider the cost of some of the hoops. So yes, if you are interested in one and you have a brother or a baby lock, that will take a machine like that. So it would need to be sort of an oversized machine.
Yeah, when we ordered them last time, they were on back order.
They took a while.
Eons.
Yeah.
It took a really, really long time to get them.
All right. Wow, look at that. That was such a quick stitch. We are finished embroidering.
What is it about plaid that is just so darn cute?
It's so cute.
It is just a darling stitch.
So let's take this over here and ta-da.
So there's that guy.
Yes, Shannon, it would definitely work with the luminaire. That's what we're stitching on, so for sure.
Isn't that just adorable?
It is so, so cute.
So with both sides stitched, you are going to trim. So this one is going to be trimmed to 4.5 by 6.5, and this one is going to be trimmed to 6 by 6. I'm sorry, 4.5 by 6. I said 6.5, I think, and I'm sorry. And then this one will be sewn to this one.
Yeah. So here is the thing in the instructions. If you're using like your Orange Pop rulers, it's going to trim it to 6.5 by 6.5 or 4.5 by 6.5. You will then need to trim it down again because it has to be 6 by 6 or 4 by 6. So it definitely will not fit if you, I mean, you could certainly make it bigger, but if you pre-cut your other fabric pieces, it would not be big enough. Jane says, I think gold or yellow stitching would have looked gorgeous on the plaid. You are absolutely right. If you like your quilting to stand out a little bit more, then using some contrasting color is really, really good. And this is a really, really adorable stitch out, the plaid. So it would be great. Absolutely fantastic.
I think that the 442 and picking that up over on the green would also look
be
really
pretty.
nice
Yeah.
in extending that.
I did give you a ruler.
I know.
Cutter if
I'm
you want
just
it. Okay. So once you trim your pieces here and you sew the two pieces together, the really cool thing that Lisa was talking about while she's trimming there is the ability to basically make this for any type of holiday. So that 6 by 6 side could be anything. You could do bunnies, you could do trees, you could do rainbows, you could do gnomes. Anything that you want to switch this up for different holidays. So you could really make it super cute. And if you don't see the value in maybe the pillow, because it's a smaller pillow, it's kind of like a decorative pillow to put on a shelf or something like that, you could certainly make a really cute wall hanging. They can't quite see.
Yeah, I can't see either.
Okay.
Which is why I was using the scissors.
Do we have orange pops here?
Oh, somewhere.
Somewhere.
Oh. Bye.
Don't get us copyrighted.
Right?
Shannon thought we were making a mug rug. It's cute as a tiny pillow, yeah. You know what would be really cute if you put a little pocket on this? If you had little kids and you were like saving for like the tooth fairy.
Right?
You could make really cute tooth fairy pillows. Put a little pocket on that other side and there could be a different tooth fairy pillow for each month. Isn't a nice sharp pair of scissors?
Oh my gosh.
So
I am enjoying this thoroughly.
It's the little things.
Who knew? Cutting a straight line could be so fantastic.
So once you sew your two pieces together, if you want to embellish this with the little balls, They're super cute. They're like crocheted fuzzy balls. You will draw a line up 1 inch from the bottom, and that's where you're going to place your decorative trim. And if you did purchase our kit, you will have that. I mean, it's just darling.
That goes there.
Yes.
And then you've got flange pieces.
Yep. So then you sew essentially like borders on the outside of your pillow all the way around, just like you were putting a border on something. And this becomes the flange. This is the part that can be a little bit confusing for people because they don't really, you're not really making a flange. You're really putting a border on, and then you're sewing the backing, and then you stitch in the ditch where your pieces are, or like where the border piece is stitched, and you stitch that through your backing. So that's what makes the pillow flange. So it's really, really easy.
I didn't do this part.
That's okay.
So you're going to want to take your backing pieces and give yourself a hem.
Mm-hmm.
I like to make a pretty stitch on these if I'm doing a stitch.
Yeah.
You can zipper if you want a zipper.
Yeah, you just did,
the little
you did
ones
a cute
are
zipper backing video not too long ago.
Right. Or a decorative stitch on these little ones. Sometimes I don't do a zipper.
Yeah.
That's a pretty short zipper. But then that would go like yay.
Yep. And then you stitch around the outside and turn it.
And then flip.
Flip.
And then you will stitch
In the
literally
ditch.
in that flange line.
Yes.
There. And then you'd have a pillow.
And then you would have a pillow.
Like yay.
Yeah. Super duper duper cute. So that is our February project. Really simple to complete. If anybody gets stuck, just give us a holler. We'll be happy to help you out. This afternoon, we're going to talk about prepping fabrics. So if that's one of the things that you sometimes struggle with, be sure to tune in at 3:30 today. We're going to do fabric prep, and our prep really can be for any type of sewing, maybe not garment sewers.
Yeah, that's definitely a different...
because you're sewing with a different type of fabric. We're really sort of for cotton type fabrics, so quilting type cottons, whether you're going to embroider
in the hoop projects,
or you're sewing or quilting with them projects. We're going to talk about how to prep those fabrics and how to prevent your fabrics from stretching and distorting when you're sewing or piecing or doing that. So that's what we're going to do this afternoon. And that's it for today, right? Can you think of anything else?
No.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks for joining us, guys. We really appreciate it. It was nice chit-chatting.
Did you say anything about Oh So Delightful?
I did not. Oh So Delightful is the next Kimberbell project. We have our fabric has arrived.
So we are
cutting our
the kits.
So it is this project here.
Do you want me to?
Yeah, you want to flip it over there? Whoops, let's hit the right button. So our kits have all of the fabric to make all of the projects that you can see. So there's a mini quilt for like your wall, and then there's little mini minis.
So these are going to end up being 12 by 12s. So you've got, I play with scissors for the sheer fun of it, and there's scissors,
the spools,
and picture frames. Sewing is my sunshine with jars with vinyls. And there are, it doesn't show it except way down here in the corner, which you can only kind of see.
There's like a pin cushion.
Pin cushions.
It's super cute.
And then the quilt itself.
Yeah. So we are cutting kits for this, and Lisa and I are designing quilting designs. So we have a bunch of them. They're pretty much all done. So if you still pre-order, our patterns actually won't arrive probably until the end of next week. So if you have them, will your kits have the fabric for minis? Did you say yes? It'll have fabric for everything.
Fabric and embellishments for everything.
Yes.
So you will get the embellishment, the designs. So we also have quilting designs fit for like the scissors and the jars and all of that. So everything that you need, if you are pre-ordering, you will receive those quilting designs for free. They're pretty much done. We just are converting and whatnot. They're pretty much designed already. So that is there. But all of the embellishments and all of the fabrics to complete all of the projects.
Yeah.
So.
And if you want the Kimberbell quilting designs, there is a link on our website that you can purchase the Kimberbell quilting designs as well. They don't come pre-packaged in the design packs. So, but we do sure appreciate if you purchase your Kimberbell stuff through our affiliate link.
Absolutely.
Makes it worth
every little bit helps.
Absolutely. But yeah, so you can go onto our website, Oh So Delightful, and purchase the kit, the pattern, the anything. But soon it will be off pre-order.
Yeah.
So the full kits do include, like we said, our quilting designs that we create, so that you have everything that you need to complete the kit. They are different than the Kimberbell. We're certainly not copying off of them, so they are not a duplicate of their stuff. But
they came from
here. Yeah, yeah.
So.
Which is scary sometimes.
It is. You just never know what's going to come out.
You never know what might happen. For sure.
But yeah, probably about another week left for the pre-order. So if you are looking to get the free quilting designs, and those would come on the USB. So there will be a USB also included with it. And the quilting patterns will be all on there.
Yes.
And
it's very cute.
it is. And the fabric is, it's very well done. There's some I'm hoping they're going to add to the basics. I mean,
yeah, it would be nice. There's a couple
there's
really
some
cute
that are
ones
really
that
sharp,
are super basic.
That I like. It's
yeah,
some good stuff in there. Otherwise, I'm going to
Absolutely.
have to start buying some fabric.
All right.
Some stash, man. All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
Really quickly, so the that is a Kimberbell quilting design, and while we do have something that has tape measure-ish in there, we did not literally, we did not duplicate their version of that. That would be not.
I liked the idea, so I played with it a little bit, but it's not what they have.
No. And I will tell you why. Not that there's no mean things about Kimberbell at all. But if you've seen some of the pictures that are already posted on there, you will see how crooked the fabric is, because that's a straight line and your fabric is never perfectly straight. So that tape measure with that dark fabric, dark stitching line on there is, it's super noticeable if you are not cutting it perfectly straight. And that is the type of thing that absolutely makes me crazy. So while it is super cute, in that long stretch, if you're a type A personality that likes things to be very square and straight, yeah, she said, I saw it was wobbly. That's why. It's because the fabric isn't perfectly straight because it's fabric.
And it pulls just like any other stitch is going to pull. So, we have some things that you can, if you really like that kind of thing, there's some options that we played with it a little bit, but it's not
It won't be a complete duplicate. Ours actually has words going around the outside.
And there's a lot of choices.
Yeah.
So you can kind of fit your personality to what you want it to be.
Yeah, but it is so cute. No pun intended.
So cute. I didn't write that. Maybe I should be.
Maybe we gotta go back.
I gotta go back and make another one. All right. Thanks for joining us today. Have a good one.